Hello, good morning, me again. Start off with a bit of subliminal, as always. Nice cup of tea. Now then, I'm really angry. And I'll tell you why I'm angry. It's got nothing to do with coins and all that. I'm going to be probably do a lot of videos that's got nothing to do with coins. I'll tell you for why I'm angry. I'm angry because I've realised that we are all, you and me. And when I say you, I'm not just doing a blanket you. Well, I am doing a blanket you to everybody out there, but I really want to make this personal, right? So I'm talking to people like Sue and Scott and Hannah and Nanny and Ailey and Steve Fraser and all the people, all of you, John Benson, Warren, Lou, everybody that I know that I've met, right? Judith and Popcoin and and so many more names. You're probably going to have to hump with me now because I haven't mentioned it, but every single one of you that I know, I'm talking to you. As if I was sitting here in your house, my house, whatever, having a coffee, and I am talking to you face to face, one on one, but I'm also talking to everybody, right? This is how serious I think this is. And I'm livid that we've all been led up the garden path and it could have all been avoided. So I'm going to go on to explain, right? And if you haven't sussed this out by now, when I've given you my layman's explanation, because I can find a way of putting some things into layman's terms, right, that maybe we didn't understand previously. So here it is, and I'm going to do it using a bag of rice. Now it seems to be a bit of a waste to me because rice is such a commodity right now, but it's really, really important. So every single one of us now has to come into contact with the virus. Every single one of us. This is how it's going to work. You can see the graph that everybody's talking about, right? We're going up, going up, going up. We need to flatten the curve, right? So it doesn't go up at a point like that. We need to flatten the curve so we don't have too much. Now, why do they say they don't want it going up to a point? Well, the reason they say they don't want it going up to a point is if it goes up to a point like that, and it goes right up and then comes down, the number of casualties is going to be absolutely horrendous. And there's no way any health service in the world will be able to cope. It's as simple as that. So what we have to do is, instead of that kind of a graph, what they want is that kind of a graph where it goes up and it's going up, going up, going up, just the same as it is here, but they're able to treat it and they're able to do things, and so it doesn't go spiking up there, right? Now, you're probably at home, like I was, thinking the reason they don't want that going on is because they care about you and me, right? No, it's got fuck all to do with that. It's got nothing to do with caring about you or me. This is about the capacity of your health service. This applies to every country in the world. This is the capacity of your health service. So if you can go up and go up and go up and go up and then bring the curve so that it's now starting to come down, now what you can do is, and we do that in another way, so we're going like that, right? It's a smaller version, we're going like that. That's what they want. Get the curve and then it goes down, right? So you bloody think it goes down. So then what happens is, now they know it's going down, they know they have spare capacity. So there's your spare capacity, right? Shooting off there, there's your spare capacity, because they've gone up, they've handled that many, so they've got the capacity for that many, and so as it comes down, there's now all that much there spare capacity, right? Okay, so what happens next is, now we start lifting the lockdown in various quarters. And we lift the lockdown in various quarters because that spare capacity that you thought was spare capacity is now going to get used up, because the graph is now going to go like that again, It's come down to the fact that they've got spare capacity. Once they've got spare capacity, they will let a few people go back to work, lift the lockdown, but it needs to be done gradual. Lift the lockdown. As you lift the lockdown, people go out and about and they catch the virus, right? And so once the lockdown is lifted, you then get in contact with the virus, people catch the virus, and up it goes again. And so we start going up for an upward trend, right? And this is what's called a lot of the times as a second wave. So lift the lockdown, you lift the lockdown, and then people go about their business, and then the virus gets back out there again, and on it goes, right? But you've had all these people before, all these people that have caught the virus, gone into hospital, come out of hospital, they're survived. All the people that have died, well, they've died, sorry, never mind. That's the way it's looked at, right? This is talking on a big scale here. You know, on an individual scale, oh, we're really sorry that somebody's died and all the rest of it. When you're talking about on a big scale, you're just numbers, right? So, you're following me so far. So now the spare capacity gets used up because we can have a lot more people go back to work. Lockdown is lifted in certain quarters, right? What happens then is we've now gone something along those lines, right? So we started off, we've gone up, we've flattened the curve, as they say, because everybody's on lockdown, and so we deal with the absolute maximum up to capacity and all the rest of it, and people, you know, and getting better and people dying, right? So now the number of people catching the virus and dying is going down because everybody's at home. So then we lift the lockdown and we fill up that capacity, but that's okay because we have the capacity, because by this time we've got ventilators and all this sort of stuff, more of it, right? So then we have to go until we flatten the curve again, because what they don't want is they don't want a second wave suddenly going like that, where it goes whoop up there. Don't want a second wave doing that, do you? You do not want a second wave giving you a triangle graph like that. So you have to handle it, and you have to handle it carefully now, so that your graph starts to look like that, so that people catch the virus, flatten the curve, all lovely jubblies, goes down, we have this much spare capacity, so we lift the lockdown, people come out, they catch the virus, we fill up the capacity, get to a curve, go down, lovely jubblies, people die, people get better, lift more of the lockdown, out they come, catch the virus, flatten the curve, and so on. And your clue to that was when, I forgot his name now, What's His Chops said, can't remember his name, it was on the tip of my tongue a minute ago, but he, on the press conference with in place of the Prime Minister, he said the virus will always be there in our community, and it will now. It's a bit subliminal. You can't stop that happening. There is nothing, this is why I'm so livid, there is nothing that you or I can do about this, right? I have to come in contact with that virus. It matters not when I come into contact with that virus, because now, like the flu, I'm going to need to catch it. And so is Nanny, and so is every single one of you. So is Scott, and so is Sue, and so is everybody, right? You've got to be careful, Sue, because your daughter, well, you know that, I'm teaching Granny to suck eggs. I don't mean to be, what's the name, I do apologise, but, you know, there are people out there that have got illnesses of their own, asthma and one thing and another, you know, and this all affects. So we have to now come into contact with the virus. It is a foregone conclusion that everybody in this country, everybody in the UK, in effect, you have to say, everybody in the world now, because of the way it was handled, and it was handled wrongly, and we'll come to that later, but it was handled wrongly, should have been a lockdown like New Zealand, should have locked it down immediately, but it was all about the money, all about the money. I'll come to that in another later. So everybody in the world now has to come into contact with this virus. Me, you, everybody. Now you could very well sit there and go, well, you're talking out your arse, Ian. You know, I mean, come on. I'm living here in wherever. There's no way. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to do this. I'm going to wear a mask when I go out. I'm gonna. Yeah, I know. All the things you're going to do. All the things I'm going to do. Yes, I'll be wearing a mask. Yes, I'm going to wear gloves. When I go up the garage, I wrap a scarf. I ain't got a mask, so I wrap a scarf around my face. I don't care that I look stupid and it's like boiling degrees. I've got a scarf around my face. I do not want to come into contact with anybody. And I know that I am going to, and I have no choice. Because sooner or later, I'm going to go into a shop and pick up a product that someone else has touched that's got the virus. And I'm going to pick that product up and I'm going to take it home. And I'm going to touch it, and no doubt I'm going to end up touching my face. Because as much as we can be told, and as much as we know ingrained on our heads, stop touching your, I mean, they were telling us that for years, stop touching your face 50 times a day, you know, wash your hands more and all that. Well, yeah, okay, I'm a clean person, like 99% of you. I'm a clean, everyday person. You know, there's certain cleanliness you stick to. And I wash my hands. I wash everything as often as it needs doing. I wash my hands plenty. I wash them more now. You know, and I try not to touch my face, but I know I'm going to touch my face. I'm going to do it so many times, I'm not even going to notice I'm going to do it. So how can I, in any kind of conviction, like you, look in a mirror and say, I'm not going to catch this virus. I'm not going to come into contact with it. I'm going to be really careful. No, because we all have to come into contact with it, because it's never going to go away. And this is why it's not. I'm going to show you why it's never going to go away. Beer Subliminal. If you want one of these, www.teespring.com/no288. So what we've got here is a bag of rice. I'm not going to go on for hours on this video, but I'm just going to prove to you, right, with this bag of rice, in layman's terms, I'm going to prove to you how it is impossible now to stop the virus. There was a chance of stopping the virus. There was a chance of containing this. There really was. But money prevailed. The cost of closing everything down, the cost to the airlines, the cost to the top, whatever, richest people in the world. Oh, it's going to cost a fortune. We can't close down international travel. It will bring business to a halt. It will do this to a halt. Well, you know, now you've killed a certain population of the planet, and in my estimations it's going to be somewhere in the region of about 25 million people, maybe more, but don't take my word for it. Influenza killed 20 million people. Ignorance killed 20 million people. This time round, it's not ignorance. It's not ignorance because they all knew. It's not ignorance because it could have all been prevented and avoided or dealt with. This time, 25 million people are going to die because, or more, because of greed. Nothing else. Supply and demand. Supply and demand, supply and demand, supply and demand. That's all it is. It's all it's about. Supply and demand. Nothing else. And the greed over it is what's going to kill millions of people. It cannot be stopped. this is going to go on and on and on. And I'm going to show you how you can identify that in your own mind so that you can understand and get it, that this now can't be stopped. They totally fucked it up. Doesn't matter, all this business about save the NHS and all the rest of it, it's all deflection. Get the country behind the slogan, save the NHS, save lives, stay at home. That is all correct, absolutely it's all correct. But it is all complete deflection in order to take away the questions that really need answering. You know, I mean, for example, this is why I say they knew it was coming, right? We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming months ago. We all talked about it. I talked about it, and Butch, me and Butch, we talked about it, and I gave figures out. But people called me scaremonger and all the rest of it, right? I ain't a scaremonger now. So there, I could see it coming. I'm not the only one. There's lots of you. There's lots of other people that could see this coming. The moment that China said they were building a hospital in a week, and then they said, I'm going to build a hospital, another hospital, we're going to build 2 in a few weeks. That was a warning to the world. Shut down immediately, because nobody goes and builds a couple of hospitals within a few weeks just for something that's a bit like the flu. Nobody does that. That was the warning. I got that warning. Immediately I got that warning. And I said over and over again, before anybody thought of panic buying, there's panic buying coming. And if I had £1,000 right now, I would go out and do some shopping. And you could call it panic buying before the panic buying, because it's not panic buying, it's buying knowing that people are going to panic buy and take all the stuff that I want. So I better go and have a top up, if you remember me saying that. So, there's loads of people seen this coming, right? Okay. Nobody's mentioned this yet. What about the intelligence services? You see, you've got things in America, like America you have FBI. FBI is on home soil. That's to do with what's happening here and now on our land. CIA, they deal with home and abroad, mostly abroad, right? So you've got CIA for America and other investigative departments, Homeland Security and so on. Over here, we've got various spy networks, intelligent networks, call it what you like. We've got MI5, MI6, we've got all of these things. We've got special branch, we've got all of these things, right? And some of our departments, they are there specifically for overseas. Now, in order to understand what overseas means, it means that you have departments here in the UK, in England, that employ people as agents to be all over the world. We'll have someone, we'll have a few people in China, we'll have some in Russia, we'll have some in Poland, and they're there for one reason and one reason only. They're there to gather intelligence, right? I know I'm speaking like, you know, as if I'm talking to a 5-year-old, but this is the way it is, right? They're there to gather intelligence from every corner of the globe, and they've been there for 100 years. We pay these people amounts of money that you and I can't comprehend, these intelligence experts, right? So are we to believe that not one single intelligence officer from any country in the world was anywhere near Wuhan, China, and not only that, but was nowhere near the viral message that went out? Because let's not forget, back in November, the first doctor in China came across patients with a virus, and he wrote something and he sent it off to his colleagues, and that went viral. That was in November, went viral. So viral means everybody knows about it, right? Everybody within the community knows about it. So you're telling me that that entire community of people where this message went viral, and then of course, when it goes viral, it goes to a load of people, and then they start spreading it out, right? Tentacles. That's how things go viral. Yeah, I give a message to you, you share it to your friends, they share it to their friends, and so on. So this message goes viral that this new disease is there, and it's like the SARS virus and all what he was saying. And he identified it, and the first half a dozen people are there in the hospital, right? And he goes out, message, viral, viral. Not a single intelligence officer anywhere in the world, not from MI5, MI6 Special Branch, any of the UK intelligence services. Let's just say any of them, Home Office, any of them. Not one single intelligence officer found out about that viral, going everywhere message. That would be, oh my God, that would just be so hard to comprehend. That means that our entire intelligence service for abroad is a complete waste of space. It is not fit for purpose. I struggle with that. I know they've made some stupid mistakes in the past, MI5 and the Russian spies running our security service and all that back in the 50s, 60s and 70s, whatever it was, but I can't believe that people like me and nobody in Weymouth can figure out something like that, and not a single person that's paid to gather intelligence has found that out or worked that out or anything like that. I just can't believe that. Not only that, but let's just for a second get your head around it for a second, right? Okay, let's get our head around the fact that our UK intelligence services might have dropped one, might have missed it, might have missed a boat on that one. You know, it does happen. Okay, great, I got that. It could happen. It's possible. It could happen. It just happens to be in a corner of the globe where we haven't got one single intelligence officer. All right, I'll go with that for a second. What about America? What about Mossad? What about Russia? What about Poland? What about Germany? What about France? What about, do I need to go on? What about every other country in the world that has intelligence officers stationed in other countries in the world? Not a single intelligence officer came across that information from any intelligence service anywhere in the world. That defies comprehension, because now what you're saying is that every intelligence service in the world is not fit for purpose. Not only is our one not fit for purpose, there isn't an intelligence service in the world that's not fit for purpose, because none of them could find out this information, and that's their fucking job. So then you have to pause, and then you have to think, well, hang on a minute. What is it that Sherlock Holmes says? Or Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in his books about Sherlock Holmes. And it is a good one. I love it. It's a good one. And when you've examined everything that's impossible, what you're left with, no matter how improbable, is the answer, right? So first, you discount the impossible. So we've already established it is possible for one intelligence service of one country to maybe drop the ball, maybe not be on the same page, maybe miss the boat a little bit in that area, and we can understand that. But to understand that from every single intelligence service, every single intelligence operative of every single intelligence service of every country in the world, no, that's not possible. It's not possible. So there must be another answer. It must be, even though I have no idea, even though I don't work for the intelligence services, it doesn't take a genius to work out if that is not possible, then that means that somebody did. Somebody did find out. Somebody did come across that viral message. Some intelligence officer of some intelligence service somewhere did come across that. Which means if they come across it, they had the what's the word? They should then pass it on. Obligation. Right? They should have the obligation to pass that on to other security services, because this is going to affect everybody in the world. So I think you have to say it's safe to assume that the governments knew it was coming, just like we knew it was coming. And even if nobody knew anything about that flipping viral message, come on. When was it that they announced that they was building those hospitals? I mean, are we saying that all the intelligence officers that work for the UK, they were all asleep at the time that that was shown on the news? You know, so even if they hadn't worked it out, even if they didn't know that it was going to happen before the reporters, which they should have done, they know now because it's on the bloody news. And still, no. What is more probable, even though you may think it improbable, and you're not going to like this, what is probably the answer is that the security services did know, and the security services did warn the government, and the people in the top in the government, they decided not to listen. It's as simple as that. They decided not to listen. No, we're going to take this view. They had the information and they decided not to listen. And that means that they took the decision, right? And they've taken the wrong decision. And it has now cost thousands of lives. Thousands of people have died unnecessarily because it didn't need to happen, because we had all the information that we needed well in time to close the borders, completely close the borders, contain it where it is, on our soil. No need for everybody to come in contact with a virus, no need for tens of thousands of people to die. But now, tens of thousands of people are going to die. Some of you are going to be among them, I could be among them, and that pisses me off. That pisses me off because it didn't need to happen. Fucking greed is all this is about. It's all about money, nothing else. Who do you think is going to pay for this? They're talking 9 trillion. We were talking 25 trillion. How long ago? And you wait and see when this is all finished. I bet it comes closer to our figure of 25 trillion than it does anywhere near 9. No way is it going to be 9. It's far too cheap. The world would have got away with it if all it cost was 9 trillion. Who do you think's paying for all of this? It's the only thing I get a little bit of satisfaction over. You know that? Who do you think's paying for this? Who do you think are the people behind these massive decisions of not shutting down air travel, not closing off the islands, not shutting all this down and shutting all that down? Who do you think really controls that? Do you think it's the people in number 10? No. It's the people that are labelled the richest people in the world, you know? The ones in the top bracket that own the most wealth in all of the world. I mean, there are a couple of people in America that have more money. I don't know if you can even comprehend this. A couple of people, right? A couple of people. Me, I'm a person. A couple of people like me, right? A couple of people have more money than several countries. Entire countries, there are people that have got more money, not just one, several countries. Where do you think they keep this money? All these rich people. When I say rich, I'm talking fucking rich. Where do you think they keep it? Do you think they keep it in stacks underneath the bed? Yeah, and a bit of gold and a bit of diamond and all the rest of it. Where do you think they keep most of it? They keep most of it in the stocks and the shares. That's where they keep it, because they're greedy. And enough is never enough. Those people that have more money than several countries, they don't keep their money in the bank. That's not how they get their money. That's not how they keep to be the richest people in the world. They keep being that way because they invest it wisely in whatever's going on, various bits and bobs, businesses and commodities and everything, where stocks and shares. Stocks and shares. And we are coming towards the biggest crash in history. Countries are piling money like America into this system in order to bolster it up, but it ain't going to be bolstered up. It's going. It is going. It's going to go like that. A stack of cards. It's 2008, nothing compared to what's coming. If you're thinking of buying a house, don't buy it right now. they are coming crashing down. Property prices going to come crashing down, and I'll tell you why in another video. So anyway, I need to get on and show you this because this is going to be a short video, right? Okay. So, proving to you quickly why this can't be stopped and why I've not just been talking a load of old bollocks, right? Okay, how do we... Can you see those little 6 grains of rice? Can you? 6 grains of rice. So you saw the 6 grains of rice, okay? You saw those 6 grains of rice. Pardon me. Those 6 grains of rice represent the 6 people. The little handful of people, 6, 5, 7, whatever it was. Those 6 grains of rice represent that little handful of people that first caught the virus in Wuhan and were first reported by that doctor that went viral, right? Remember, that message went viral. That is so important, so key, because the fact that it went viral means everybody knew in November, halfway through November, everybody knew. All the top leaders of the world knew, because somebody would have fed that back to them. So Boris knew. In November, Boris knew. If he didn't know, then the intelligence service is not fit for purpose. And I don't think I'd like to be the one to stand in front of the intelligence service and tell them they're not fit for purpose. I've got a funny feeling that they are fit for purpose, and they gave the information and that information was ignored. So November, right? 6 grains of rice represent those people that were in the hospital. This bag of rice, full of rice, right? Full of rice, this represents the people in the world. Right? And what happens is, those 6 grains of rice, see, those 6 grains of rice, they've gone back in there. Then we've done that, right? And then do you know what else we've done? I'll show you. We did that. That's what we did. And yeah, that. Right, so do me a favour, because every single one of those grains of rice is a nasty, horrible, death-killing virus. Every single one of them. So, the thing is, how do you go and find them? Your life, my life, might depend on finding every single grain of rice. Every single one. Not just a few. Not just rounding up a few of them and sticking them in quarantine. But our life actually depends on finding every single one of those. Which you and I know it's not possible. Right? It's absolutely not possible. If just 6 grains of rice can cause 6 people, handful of people, can cause this much disruption in the world, then what does 50 people walking around with it cause? What does 100 people walking around with it cause? What does 1 million people walking around with that virus right now? 1 million people at least walking around with that virus in the world right now. And this all started from a handful. And you've got more than 1 million people walking around with it. Not being stopped. It can't be stopped. And so all we're getting, everything that they're telling us, all this business about the front line, we need the PPE for the frontline staff. You know, there's frontline staff like Bungle and Katie, people that we know. You know, these are not just faceless numbers and individuals. These are people that we know, and there are others, you watching, we know that are frontline staff. Not getting the PPE equipment and all the rest of it. Well, it don't matter. To a degree, it don't matter. And they know that. Which is why they're not being hauled over the coals. Why this ain't there, why that ain't there. They're being hauled over the coals a little bit, but you know, the answers they give, which are not exactly straight answers to straight questions, but it doesn't really matter, because every single member of the frontline staff has got to come in contact with a virus. You've either got to die or live. You know, we need the people to live, but we know a percentage are going to die, so we just got to throw everybody at it. It's like throwing a load of mud at a wall. Throw a load of mud at a brick wall, some of it is just going to fall straight off, but some of it's going to stick. That's why they say mud sticks. Some of it will stick. Anyway, so that's why we all have to catch the virus. I hope you understand that. I hope I've put it in a way that makes people comprehend it and understand it, so that I'm not just feeling like I'm on a different planet. You know what I mean? There's no way in God's earth you can find, isolate, contact trace and quarantine every single piece of that rice. The only thing you can do is let it all come out in great big bundles, you know? So let everybody come out of the lockdown, not everybody, most of the people come out of the lockdown, then we'll spread the virus a bit more, and we'll sort them out, let the curve go down again, let a few people out, spread the virus a bit more, go up and down and up and down and up and down until it's done, until we've all had it. We've all been through the system, we've all caught the cold, we've all caught the virus, and then after we've all come in contact with it and we've all caught it over a period of a couple of years, at that point there won't be all the panicking and worrying and all the rest of it that there is now. But by that time there'll be a lot of us dead, and if I am one of them that's dead, I've done my video to say I'm fucking angry at the way that they did it, and they shouldn't have done it this way, and they should be held accountable. Somebody should be held accountable, and the people that should be held accountable, it's quite simple how to fix it. The people, there was two sides, right? There were two camps, black and white world. There were two camps. One camp arguing, shut it all down, shut it all down, we can see what's happening, they got it up here, they can see, they got that. Another camp going, no, 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 mustn't shut it all down. That camp, whoever was in that camp, it don't matter who was in that camp, whoever argued against it, whoever argued against the science and the advice and what was there at the time, whoever argued against it should be removed, no matter who they are. It don't matter if it's Boris, don't matter if it's Trump, don't matter who they are. If they argued against shutting the place down, they put your allies at risk. They should be removed, and they should be replaced with the people that were in the right camp, the people that were arguing to shut the place down, because those people have some semblance of an idea of what to do about the situation. The people that made the wrong decision over and over again, they don't know what to do, so they're not making the right decisions, and we're just letting them do it. And we've got no choice now. They should be removed. The people that said, shut the place down, all the people that were saying the right things, they're the people that should be running things right now, and they should be replaced with those people. That's what I think. Anyway, who am I? I'm just Ian Lambert. I'm a nobody. You know, I'm just no one from nowhere in Dorset. Have a great day.